Hey guys, and welcome to the Volkswagen MK1 restoration series. In today's episode, guys, we are going to be installing a nice brand new gas tank and all the fuel components. High pressure fuel pump, accumulator, brand new gas lines, stir tank. This is going to be a very detailed video. I will show you how all the gas lines, all the vacuum lines, I will show you how everything goes, all the order of everything. Let's get into this video right away. Okay guys, so this setup is in lots of different Volkswagens. So this is a 1.8 liter engine, guys, with the CIS fuel injection system, guys. So many Volkswagens have this setup, specifically the Golfs, Cabriolet, and there's a few others, guys. So yes, usually you have the whole CIS system here, but I have it taken out. So in this video, we're gonna cover everything from the gas tank all the way to this point here. I'll show you how everything goes step by step, guys. Okay, so we have a brand new gas tank from rockauto.com. Awesome place. I basically got all the parts from Rock Auto that I could. So we got a brand new high pressure fuel pump. So we got that. This Swirl pot, they call it. So this had rust in it. It's like a little filter. So I took it in the house, I put water in it, I swished it all out. It is 100% good and clean now. So I'm reusing this. That's what that looks like. Brand new fuel accumulator, guys, also from Rock Auto. They did have the best price. A brand new filler neck, guys, also from Rock Auto. Also the best price. Here is the old fuel filter. I'm just waiting for the new one to come in. A nice Bosch one. Here is the fuel sending unit. So I am reusing the sending unit, but I am putting a brand new inside the gas tank pump inside of the gas tank. So we're changing that. So that will be in this video. As far as gas lines and hoses and things like that, I did see kits for like $300-400 that include everything. But what I'm doing is I'm just replacing, so I got some copper gas lines. So I'm gonna replace them from scratch. I got a whole bunch of rubber ones, a couple different sizes. I will get to that in this video. As far as the accumulator goes, so there is like a little hose that goes, you know, from this to this, which I just went to like a store that sells fittings for hydraulics. See, and they just sold me these, and I can just put regular rubber hoses on. In the end, it ended up costing me like $300 for all the hoses and pipes and fittings and all that. So maybe I should have just bought the kit. But anyway, so that's what I did. As far as like this for the filler neck, so this is all dry and crumbly. So I just got a hose from Napa. So I basically got everything from Napa and from Rock Auto, guys. If I missed anything, don't worry. We will cover it in this video. Okay, let's get into this right away. Oh yeah, and one other thing. So this is the heat shield that goes onto the gas tank. So it was rusty. So I welded, see, these kind of things onto it. There. And there, and I'm reusing it, and I just repainted it. It's actually drying still. I just literally finished working on that. And if you don't have any faith in me after all the videos that I've made already on this car, check out the last car I worked on. So there it is, looking absolutely mint. Look how mint that is, all brand new leather. This car was in just as bad a shape as the Volkswagen, guys. So trust me, I know what I'm doing, guys. Here is my old gas tank, completely rotted out, holes everywhere. Everything smelled like gas. So I took it off. I have a very detailed episode on that. And also check out the underneath of the car, guys. See, guys, I completely restored the underneath, painted everything, fixed any rust or anything. So this thing is totally ready for a gas tank. Look how mint that looks, guys. Lots and lots of episodes coming still, guys, on this beauty right here. Roof, floor repair. It's a whole series, guys, if you guys want to see the whole thing in a row right from day one. Okay, guys, let's get into this video for real this time. Okay, guys, so the absolute first thing we're going to do, just because that heat shield needs to dry till tomorrow, unfortunately, is I'm going to run the fuel lines, guys. So I bought 25 feet of copper fuel lines. You can use copper lines, Napa, Part Source. I actually got this at the hydraulic fitting store for hydraulic systems, guys. So that copper line is very flexible and it'll be very easy to run it. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm basically going to run 2 copper lines over to like this area right here. So I'm going to run them there. I'm going to run them along the firewall, through the little hole in the frame at the bottom. See, guys, that's the front of the car. So they're going to come out right over here. I'm going to run them through this hole right here, guys. And we're going to run them to the back just the way the original ones went. So, I mean, I don't really need to show much there, but I'll go to the back and I'll show you how I'm running them. So that's the front of the car over there. This is the back. So I'm just going to run them, like, see, the original ones went here. So I'm just going to run them up to this point. And then from here, I'm going to run rubber gas lines. One is a return line, so I can run a low pressure, and the high pressure line will have a high pressure rubber one later to hook up into things. I'll show you how all that goes. So I'm going to run those copper lines, guys. I'll see you probably in about 45 minutes when those are installed. All right, so I got them on, as you can see. See, I just cut them for now like that. We will cut them nicer later. So there they go. I don't have them like attached to each thing yet, just because I might have to move things around, but I ran them. So there they go. I'll show you what I did by the motor and over at the front there. Okay, so that's the back of the car. This is the front here. See, so I just got them running through like that. They're up high. They're not sticking out. So the main thing, I attached them here good so they don't move, right? And then also you got to be super careful so they don't hit this, right? So I got them going nicely behind that. They're not even close to it. Like, there's tons of room here. And then I got them going up and I attached them over there. I chose a different path from the original path just because it's easier to run them the way that I did. See, so I just got them coming up and then I just got them running there. Whatever, I'm not a big under the hood guy. I got them running there. For now, they're just sitting here like this, but I will do all this later in this video. Okay, so now we're moving on to attaching the heat shield onto the gas tank. So, I mean, it's pretty straightforward if you got a new one, but see, I gotta put those around it like so. Okay, let me get it on and I'll show you. And this one, see, I bent it open so I could bend it in once I have it on. Okay, the heat shield is on, so I just went around and I bent it nice and tight around all of these, see? So that ain't going nowhere. That's on there super good. Okay, so that is that. Okay, next, guys. Actually, the day is ending, so I'm gonna have to fast forward till tomorrow. Actually, I am going on a date, believe it or not. A loser like me is going on a date.
I'm gonna fast forward till tomorrow right now.
Boom! And just like that, we are in the future. It is the next day. It snowed, but it's a super nice warm day. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna take the gas tank. I'm gonna put it underneath the car here. I'm gonna grab a board. I'm gonna put a board so I don't damage the gas tank, a jack, and I'm gonna put it into place. The jack's gonna be holding up. So that way I can like be in control of lowering it, lifting it to start hooking things up. So I can't fully install it yet. Okay, let me do that right now. Okay, just about to slide the gas tank in. So originally, See, this was on here like so. That goes to the filler neck. There was one of these, and then there was also one of these, which goes to a valve. I will get into all that. So what we're doing is, this is super stiff and old. This is super stiff and old. So just from Napa, see, I got a hose like this. I'm gonna put this on here. And I also got a little gas hose, and I'm gonna put this on here. The one thing I am gonna try to do, there is like a spring inside of this. That spring is there to prevent this from kinking. It should be okay, but I'm gonna cut this open and I'm gonna try to put that spring in there just so it doesn't kink when I bend it. If it doesn't fit, we should be okay. So that's what I'm doing, guys. So I'm gonna hook these two up before I slide this in. Okay, so I got both those on. See, I got two little clamps on them. So this one here is a 5/8, and it is rated for fuel, as you can see. Not for fuel injection, but there's not gonna be pressure in this. So yeah, so that's 5/8. And then this one is also a fuel line, and this one is 3/16, guys. 3/16. Do you see that? There it is, 3/16. And I was not able to get the spring inside of this. It wouldn't fit, so I'm just gonna run it without it. Okay, guys, so I got the gas tank on. I just put the little screws in, finger tight for now. So I got it on. So I'll show you the problem that I'm having. So this hose that goes up here to the filler neck, right? So right over here, check it out. See, it's kinking. Doesn't really matter what I do with it. It seems to want to kink, see? So what we're gonna do, guys, is I actually just went to Napa again, see, and I got this kind of thing, little L bracket. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna figure out exactly where, and I'm gonna install this, see, like that, and that should get rid of the kink. So I got a 5/8 one of these. So that's problem number one. This one seems to go no problem, like it's small enough, see? So I'll be able to run this one up. So that's not a problem. Okay, so I'm gonna basically mark this, cut it, and then we're gonna drop the tank. So the second thing is this. So this is the Swirl tank. I will explain what this is for and what I had to do with this one to reuse it. So this, I believe I am missing some kind of little bracket right here to attach it to the gas tank. So basically you gotta put this up here and figure out, see, it goes like this. You gotta figure out what the best place for it is, so it has the least, like the most amount of room. So I'm gonna kind of figure that out, see? Something like that. Then I'm grabbing a marker and I'm gonna mark this right there on the gas tank. So I know that that's where that's gonna be. So what we're gonna do, guys, now is we're gonna drop the tank. Okay, I just want you guys to understand what I'm doing here. So now I'm gonna pull on this. I'm gonna basically pull it. So watch, let me just stick the camera up here, right? Okay, so watch, let me pull it. See, so now that's where that 90 degrees needs to go. This actually makes perfect sense now, see? There's actually a 90 there because it can't droop back down. It needs to, like if there's ever gasoline in this, when the tank's full, as the gas is being used, there can't be like a pocket. So it's gotta be like that. So we're gonna put that L right there. Yeah, just like that. So I'm gonna mark that and then I'm gonna cut it when the tank comes off. Okay, so see, this is what I did. Just like that. So now this can go up without it kinking. So that's that. So now this thing, as you can clearly see, there's like a cutout for it even in the tank. So you want it basically, you know, that's where it's gonna go. Right around there. So a little bit over from where I marked it, like right there. Just like that. So I'm gonna rig something up to attach this. I believe there's supposed to be some kind of factory thing that probably rusted away in my case. Okay, so out of the old dryer here, I cut out just a piece of metal like this. Let's see if we can make some kind of bracket out of it. Anyways, something like that, and then I'll make this bend back around there. Okay, let me just do that really quick. Okay, so here it is. See, just wrapped these around, and I bent them over. See, like that. Got a little slit here. I mean, I'm getting creative. You might still have your original one. So that will just go on there like this. Watch. Look at that. That ain't going nowhere. Okay, so that is done. Okay, everybody. Next, we're going to work on the sending unit. So this is the sending unit. This, as it lifts up, that would be like full tank of gas, empty, half full. Get it? This floats, this little ball. So that's how that works. And this here is a fuel pump. This car has 2 fuel pumps. So this is one of them. So in my case, my gas tank was completely rusted, and this actually fell off. See, this is like a little mesh filter. So it fell off. So this motor was sucking in pieces of rust like you wouldn't believe. So we are replacing this motor because it is full of rust. The way you do that is pretty simple. You just unplug it here, like so. And you squish this little clamp here, see? And we're gonna basically pull it off. Pretty straightforward, right? Okay, here is the new motor. I got this from rockauto.com. Rockauto.com, great store. So it came with this, see the motor? It looks a little different, but it will be the same. And it also came with a new filter. But it came with this filter as well. But I believe this filter is better because, see, it's got these little things here. So even if it goes right to the bottom of the tank, see, it's going to be able to suck fuel. Versus this one, if it goes to the bottom of the tank, see, it can like have a starvation problem, right? So we're going to pull this off. And we're going to slide this new one on. Pretty straightforward. Okay, I'm just going to get this on off camera. You might want to put a little bit of, I don't know, water on here or something, or a little bit of fuel just to make the slide on good. So I'll do that off camera. Okay, so it went on nice and tight. Like there's no way that's coming off. It's on there so good. I actually used a little bit of spit. So I left that out. Didn't want to gross you guys out. Okay, so I got that on. Let's pull that one off. But before we do that, I just want to show you some. Okay, so here's the original one. See? So if we line this up exactly the same, see, it does look different, but no worries because it looks different. But when you hook this up to this, see, like if you put them side by side, that will actually sit in the exact same height at the bottom, see? So everything's good. It just looks a little bit different. The plug is like in a reverse way, see? But that doesn't matter either because I checked the positive and the negative, and everything is the same. All you got to do is you'll just have to turn this around. That's all. So this is good. This will work. Okay, I'm going to install this into this, guys. Okay, so I moved this clamp up. Now I got to just break the seal on this hose here. That's all. There it goes. It should just come right off. Okay, well, I'm going to fight with this a little bit off camera. It's just removing a hose, guys. Nothing to it. Okay, so I got the pump off. This hose is good. I'm just going to reuse it because there's nothing wrong with it. So this is your return line. The engine sends fuel that it doesn't use back into the tank. So this is your return line, and this is your pickup line. Pickup, return, get it? The little motor pumps the fuel. And that travels into, well, I'll get to it, but it pumps it out of the tank. So now I noticed one thing wrong with this. sending unit, so it's hard to see on camera here, but see, this is bent. I don't know if somebody was like trying to use a screwdriver to pry it or something. See, it's a little bit bent, if you can see that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a crescent wrench like this, and I'm just going to grab it, and I'm just going to straighten this back just a tiny bit, so that way I can reuse it. See, just like that. Really nothing to it. I've seen this many times before. It's never going to seal if it's not straight. Yeah, see, that totally worked. So, okay, I straightened that out. I will double check it off camera even a little bit better. And then the second thing I'm going to do is see there's a tiny bit of corrosion here where the seal is going to be, or the O-ring. So I'm just grabbing like a sanding pad, and I'm just going to go around and I'm going to clean all this crap out of here. See, like that. See, just like that. So I'm going to smooth it out nice with this all the way around, especially in that groove where the O-ring is going to sit. And yeah, just make sure yours is straight like ours is now. All right, my awesome subscribers. So, okay, I got it on. So now you have to make sure that this thing doesn't hit it. See? So we were good there. The second thing, this is actually feels very brittle, the return line. And this is cracked. So I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to change this. I'm just going to use a piece of fuel line that I have, and I'm going to put a new one on. And I'm going to cut it at a slant like that. If you make it flat and it goes to the bottom of the tank, it's going to have a hard time coming out. So you want a little slant on it. Okay, so I got some 5/16 hose. It does not need to be fuel injected style hose. It can just be a gasoline rated hose. So 5/16, which is 7.9 millimeters hose, right? The inside diameter. So now I got a clamp. This is a fuel injection style clamp. See, they look like this. Very good clamps. So these are specific to hose sizes. So for a 5/16 hose, you need a clamp that is between 13 millimeters and 15 millimeters. So that's what I got here. So we're gonna put this on, and we're just gonna clamp that, guys, nice and tight. So I'm gonna do that really quick. Okay, guys, this thing is ready to be installed. I clamped it. Make sure this doesn't rub. Everything's good. I'm not changing that. It looks perfectly fine. So I'm just leaving it. So there is like your low pressure fuel pump inside the gas tank. Okay, let's install this. So I got a brand new O-ring, which came with the fuel tank. So I got that. So that just goes over like this. Make sure it sits in this groove when you put it in. The only thing I am doing different, guys, is since this is a little tiny bit corroded, I'm gonna grab just a little bit of this stuff, semi-drying gasket maker, and I'm just gonna put a tiny bead of it on just the one side, just to make it airtight. So this is good Honda Bond brand, very good stuff. Okay, so I'll just put a tiny bead, and then we're gonna put it in. See, that helps with the gasket staying in place too, or the O-ring, I should say. This filter is a little big and it's hard to get it in. I'm gonna use a screwdriver to help it. See, so you install it like this, and then you're gonna turn it clockwise to lock it in. It should just go. Okay, I'm gonna try that. Okay, ready? Yeah, that felt really good. Yeah, that's in there, guys. So that's what it should look like from this side. This one coming out this way, and this one coming out this way. So remember, this is the one that the pump is hooked up to. So this is your feed line, and this is your return line. Okay, we're gonna start running the fuel lines. So now, you'll notice there's like a cutout here, see? So you got to run the fuel lines this way. See, there's a cutout here. Then they run along here, and they have to be right here over top of this. So we're gonna run the first one, which is gonna be the return line. So we're using 5/16 hose again. It does not need to be rated for fuel injection because it's not high pressure. So we're gonna run it from this. That's the return, right? So we're gonna run it from that this way, and we're gonna hook it up to this top one on the fuel stir pot. That's what this is called. This is a fuel stir pot / filter. I'll explain all this in this video, so just keep patience here. So you hook it up to this. So we're gonna run that to that. Let me do that right now. Oh yeah, and we're gonna use same clamps, fuel injection ones, 13 to 15 millimeter. We're gonna put them nice and tight so nothing leaks. Okay, so I ran it. See, it's gotta go right there, like that. So now the only thing is, see this clamp, if you see this screw sticking out here. So the problem is there's not much room once you put it in. Basically, this is almost touching the top of the car. So I put a clamp in this way, and I'm gonna grab a grinder and I'm gonna cut that off. Just this what's sticking out. So there's nothing sticking out. Pretty straightforward. Okay, next what we're gonna do is we're gonna run another line. This time we're gonna run it from this, the same way. And that one goes to the bottom of the stir pot. So to this one. So we're gonna do that, clamp it. 5/16 line, same as this one. And it doesn't have to be high pressure either. Just regular is fine. Okay, just putting the clamp on. So I do find it very good practice to grab the clamp with a pair of pliers like this and then tighten it. It prevents it from like twisting funny. They tend to do that. Just an idea, guys. Okay, so we got that hooked up just the way I said. I put a zip tie on here just for when I'm putting it on, so it kind of sits, sits where it's supposed to, kind of thing. So I got that there. So now, okay, I'm gonna explain how this thing works, the stir pot. So it has two functions. One, it is a fuel filter. So there's just a little mesh inside, just like the mesh at the bottom of this. So in my case, what happened was the mesh fell off, so that motor was pumping rust particles. The rust particles got pumped into here, right? And then there's a mesh inside that separates when the gas comes out of this. Like this goes to your high pressure fuel pump. So like this will sit like this, right? And there's gonna be a hose going from here to here, right? So what I did is I brought this thing in my house and I filled it up with water in my sink and I shook it around for like 20 minutes. And I basically completely cleaned it out. All the little rust particles came out. So I'm able to reuse it. It's nice and clean. If you look in there, you can kind of see inside of it. Same when you look in these. So I was able to reuse mine, thank goodness, because these are like $200, right? So the way this works is as your motor is pumping fuel, right? It fills this thing up right here. And then what happens is this pump gets its fuel not from the tank, but it gets it from here, right? And the reason they do that is because if you're going around corners and you have very low fuel, you don't want to have like a few seconds with no fuel. So this has always got fuel in it because it's getting fuel pumped in right here. This line is gonna run all the way up to the front of the motor, and it's the return line. So any extra fuel that the motor has, and there always is some, also gets pumped into here. So basically this is pumping fuel into this, and so is this pumping fuel into this. This is the return line. There is a check valve here. It only allows the fuel to flow in this direction, get it? So it's not gonna suck fuel in through here. When this thing gets completely full, which it always is, the extra fuel goes in here and pumps back into the tank. But since this is always full, right? This always has fuel in it So that way there's never a moment where this goes dry, even for a split second. Get it? So that's the idea of that. That's how that works. I hope I explained that good, guys. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna hook up a 5/16 hose to this, and we're just gonna run it like this, and it's just gonna hang. Get it? Like it's just gonna hang down this way. So I'm gonna do that. And over here, we're gonna hook up a 3/8 hose. So a bigger hose. For the 3/8 hose, you need to use clamps that are a little bit bigger. So these type of fuel injection clamps are 14 millimeters to 16 millimeters, right? But you still don't need to use high pressure hose. You can just use still regular hose because it's still not high pressure. It's only going to be high pressure after this thing, 75 PSI. Before that, I mean, there is no pressure because the second this thing gets full, the gas just runs back into the tank. So even if it's 5 PSI or 3 PSI, there's nothing to stop it from just going back into the tank. So the pressure never really builds up. So you don't need to use high pressure lines. Okay, so I'm gonna hook up those two lines right now. I'll show you what that looks like, and then we're installing the tank. Okay, so here we are. See what that looks like? So that's what that's gotta look like. So we got the one hose just running down. We got the other one. So this is 3/8 hose. It's bigger. So you just got that running down. 3/8 is, just in case you live in England, to my English buddies out there, 9.5 millimeters. Okay, so now I'm gonna go underneath the car and I'm gonna put on the tank. We should be able to get it on. Okay, I'll see you guys in a few. Okay guys, so I got the gas tank on for now. I just got these little like screws here. See, I don't have the big washers that go underneath them on. I just have the screws. But so what you got to do is in this corner, you got to put your hand in there, which I already did, and you got to make sure that those two hoses, see, they got to be running over top of that hump. You can't have them running in there. See, then they'll get kind of squashed. So they have to be up top. So that's number one. So I did that. This part here, guys, remember how I put the L bracket or whatever? Look, that totally worked. Same with this one, right? So those just come out here now. There's no kinks, nothing. So those will just run up. I'll get to that, but those run up there. So this is on good. So what we're gonna do now, guys, oh yeah, so we got the 3/8 hose coming out over here, right? And then on the other side, we have the return line from the engine coming out. See, just right there. Sorry for the little bit of a camera shakiness. Give me a like for this video, guys. This is a lot of work, and I'm doing it for you guys. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, guys, is these things here. So ours are pretty rusty, but they're still good. So I'm just gonna get a hammer, and I'm gonna kind of bang the rust off. See, just like this. Right, I mean, nothing too crazy. See, that you want them to look like this, right? So then what you do, guys, is if you don't want this rust to transfer over to your brand new gas tank, I'll show you what to do. Okay, so I got some all-purpose, just bearing grease, right? You take some on your finger, and see, it goes this side up, like this. So that's how you're gonna put them up onto the gas tank. So you just want to put the bearing grease on this, and that'll prevent it from ever rusting again and from the rust spreading. So you do that to all of them, and all the bolts are gonna get lots of anti-seize, so they never seize. This is a great product, guys. Anti-seize, get some. Okay, so I'm gonna do that, and then all of these, right? I mean, pretty straightforward. You know, they just go on like this, and then you're gonna put your bolt. So I'm gonna basically install this gas tank. She's ready to be installed. See you guys in about 10 minutes. Okay, the gas tank is on. Look at that. That looks great. So I got everything hanging there. So what we're gonna do now, guys, is we are gonna install the filler neck. So there it is. There's the old one, there's the new one. This one was completely rotted out. Holes in it everywhere. Rust everywhere, look at all that. There's a nice new one. Got this from rockauto.com as well. This part here, I'm gonna reuse. It seems fine. I'm just gonna put 2 new clamps. Okay, so this is pretty straightforward. So there's 3 Phillips head screws. Mine were completely rusted, but I matched some up. So those are just gonna go like that. 1, 2, 3, right? Yes, we're gonna be doing body work later, but you know, that's gotta line up there. You might have to bend this to make it work. And then we're gonna put that rubber piece on. From there to there, pretty straightforward, guys. So I'm just gonna do that off camera, get this set up. Okay, filler neck is installed, as you can see. Looking nice. I got it screwed in there. I got this brand new hose nice and tight. That one nice and tight. She's nice and solid. So now we're gonna focus on this valve here and the whole ventilation system of the fuel ventilation system, evaporation system, whatever you want to call it. So first thing we got to do is we're gonna cut this original hose here so we can get this thing off, because this valve sat in here like this, right? So okay, I'm gonna cut the hose and get this off. Okay, so this thing is gonna go, see, right up here. See, something like that. That totally makes sense, right? So that's how that goes, right? Up like that. So now this valve sits in it like this. See, like that. Makes sense? So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna drill a little hole here in this rubber thing, maybe one here. And since this is like broken, I'm gonna run a zip tie through to like attach this so it doesn't fall out. That's one thing. And the other thing I gotta do is I gotta make this hole a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna use a utility knife, make this a little bit bigger, because this hose is fatter than the original one on the outside here, and it doesn't want to fit in that hole. So off camera, I will do those 2 things right now. Okay guys, so see, here it is. That's how I attached it. I just drilled a hole right through there, all the way through. But see, now here's the problem. So in here, there was like a metal L bracket that came out, and then there was like a screw that holds this in place. So that completely rusted away, and there's basically nothing in there. It was just pure rust. So now, see, I built this. I mean, just out of that old dryer. See, I cut it out, pretty simple. See, that just goes in here. I mean, you can build anything so easy, right? That's gonna go like that. That's gonna go like this. That's gonna go down. That's gonna go like that. See? So now, see, there's that hole. It's like the L bracket. So this can stay nice. So now I just got a zip tie. I'm gonna put the zip tie through. See, just like that. And then just attach it here. There. So there's no way that that is coming out. Okay, let me go show you how this is gonna work now. That hole. Okay, so now, see right here, see that thing? So now this, see, this is gonna fit in here like so. See, just like that. Okay, the hole was too small, so I made the hole bigger. See, so that's just gonna go in like so. See, just like that. And then now there's no way that's coming out or moving or anything. It's in there, super, super good, just like that. Okay, so now, the big hose is gonna run along here like so. right? And it's gonna run through that hole, which it fits now. And then I'm attaching it to here and I'm putting on a clamp. So that's what I'm doing with this. That's the one that goes to the gas tank, see? Right there with the L bracket. Obviously, you know that, right? Okay, the other one, this little one that was right beside this one on the gas tank. So that one hooks up. It's gonna run along here, run along here. That one hooks up to the bottom of this valve. So I'm gonna slide this one on. Like I'm gonna obviously take this down, but I gotta figure out the length. Slide it on and I'm gonna use one of those little wee tiny clamps. So that's where that one goes. And then for the top, guys, so the one that hooks up to the top of this valve, that one runs down and it ends up running all the way to the front, up into that fender, guys. Let me go show you. So right up front here, see it comes out with the gas lines underneath. It used to anyways, but I took it out. See, and there it is. But for some reason, mine was melted and squished there. So I cut it and I took it out. But I'm gonna cut it again right here, nice and fresh, clean cut. And then that runs right into the fender, not this one, that one there. See, it's like hiding almost. It runs into the fender, and then in here, see there is like a vacuum tank, these are called. See, so there it is, it comes out. It runs into the vacuum tank, hooks into it. This holds pressure once the engine is off for a bit. See, and then it comes out, goes in again, and see, it comes out right here, runs all the way across, all the way to here. I disconnected it, guys. And then it runs into this fender here, and there is like a charcoal filter thing in here that you know, takes care of the fumes or whatever from the gas tank. And then out of that, there's another vacuum that comes out, and that hooks into the distributor right here, see? So that's how that goes. Here's my old gas lines, as you can see. And see, there it is. It's like a third hard line vacuum hose. So see, I already cut it here, so that's ready to be repaired or whatever. But I'm gonna separate this hose from the gas lines, and I'm actually gonna reuse it, and I'm gonna run it all the way from there to this broken part. The only thing is, I'll show you like how to connect one to the other, because it's so hard and it's pretty old, but it's good. That, like, for example, you know, I would never be able just to slide this on to that valve. It's just too hard. So I'm gonna cut it like right here, and I'll show you what I'm gonna do with it. Okay, so that's the plan. Okay, so here's the original hard line that I was just showing you. See, that's where it was melted. So I cut it. But anyways, so I bought this. This is basically vacuum line. So now what I can do is, wherever I need to, I can just put a piece of this on, get it, slide it on, like that, and I can put in sections of this wherever, you know, it's broken or whatever. So, okay, so I'm gonna use some of this somewhere, wherever I need to, but for the most part, I'm just gonna reuse the original hard line that's right here on, that was on the original gas line. So I'm gonna separate it, run it from the top of that valve all the way to that thing. Okay, I think I'm over explaining this, guys, so I apologize for that, guys. It's hard making these videos. It really honestly is. Okay, I'm gonna do that, and then I'll show you when that's done, and then we're moving on. All right, everybody, so see, that's how I did that. The bottom one goes to the fuel tank, the top one goes to the front fender. So you got that running through. That's gonna go into the screw right there, and that's gonna go on there with a clamp. So I'm gonna put that up right now. Okay, so that's the front, you know where we are. So check it out. Everything's hooked up nice, looking good. So now all I got left, guys, is over here anyways. This is all good. Just got this thing. So that just goes on there. See, like that. Get in there, right? Gonna attach this. These broke off when I was taking it off, so all I'm gonna do is just get some self-tapping screws and just put them in new spots, just right near the original ones, and then that's on, and then we're moving on to the accumulator and the fuel pump, guys. So I'm gonna put this on off camera. Okay, there it is, looking beautiful. So we're moving on, and we're moving on to the accumulator. I got this one from Rock Auto as well, Bosch one. Here's the part number and stuff. So look at my old one, rusted out completely. And here is the replacement high pressure pump. So this one is smaller. They make them smaller now, but this is also a Bosch one. Here's the original one, and it's like got this like thing around it to keep it quiet. So we're gonna slide, we're gonna try to slide this old one out of here. There is a check valve at the end of it, so it came with a check valve. The only thing I'm gonna be reusing as far as old stuff is just this end nut right here. I wasn't able to get anything like it. This one's still good, so this was on here. Okay, we'll get to all that. First, I'm gonna remove that. Well, simple enough, I guess. So the reason this one has this like plastic thing on it, it's just to make up for the size difference, get it? So with this plastic thing, it is the same size. So I'm gonna clean this thing up. This keeps your pump like quiet. It gets rid of the sound, right? I'm gonna clean it up and then I'm gonna slide this into this. Okay, here is the old accumulator, as you can see. Pretty straightforward. So this bracket around it, we'll call it. So anyways, so this is where this thing went. It is right here like this. See, and then there's a screw that holds it in. So I'm just gonna quickly put that screw in so you can see what that looks like. Okay, so I got the old accumulator on temporarily, right? So, right here. So the middle one, see that's in the middle, that's on the side. So the middle one comes out and that runs, basically it runs to the motor. So I'll get to wear on the motor, right? And this other one, see it's got this hose on it. This hose is like $100. So we're gonna make this hose ourselves. I didn't buy one, but anyways. So that connects to the high pressure fuel pump, which is right here, see? So that hooks into that, right? And then this part of it, so like this end of it, hooks into, like this is gonna hook into it, right? And that goes to the swirl pot. It's the bigger hose, the 3/8 one. So that's gonna loop back and go into this, right? So the problem I'm having is, so this bracket on here is so rusted, I don't know if I can get it off without breaking it, right? The bracket for the accumulator. So I'm gonna like hit all the rust off with a hammer, clean this. I'm gonna try to get this bracket off and reuse it. And the bracket that used, like, yeah, I took the cover off, right? But the bracket that used to hold this in place, I don't even know what it looks like because it rusted away and it was gone. This was just hanging here when I took it off. You can check out the removal of the gas tank video if you want. I have a very detailed video on that. So I noticed there's a screw here or a nut and a bolt sticking out. So I bet you the old original bracket for this somehow hooked into that, but I don't even know what it looks like. So just out of my dryer, I am gonna build some kind of bracket for this and I'll show you guys what that looks like once it's built. I'm gonna try to remove this bracket. If I can save it, I will use it. If not, we're also gonna make one for that. So I'll show you when I'm done that. And then I'll show you how to make this. So I'll see you guys in a bit. I'm gonna set all this up. Also see this one vacuum that's running that runs to the front right fender. I'm gonna fix this up so it's like tucked in nice and everything. So yeah, so I'll do that. I'll do those 3 things and I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, so good news. I was able to get the bracket off. I put it on. So this is the way you put it on. So if this is flat like this, see, you want this one to be on top. So that's how that goes. Okay, so that's number 1. So now number 2, guys. We're gonna make this hose here. See the top one? That's what that looks like. So I went to diesel, truck, and hydraulics. That's what the store is called. So like a store that sells fittings for hydraulics and stuff. So see, there you go. They sell all types of fittings like this, bigger ones. So this is 3/8, and this is the same size as that. I can't remember what size it is. I just brought them this, right? So I got that, and I also got, see, they sold me this type of thing. So like this can go right onto here. You see what I mean? Oh, it's actually, I got a bigger one because there's 2 sizes. So see, that can go onto there. So you're gonna have to put everything tight. These are compression fittings. Like put a wrench on here, tighten it, you know. Tighten this to this really tight. And then we'll be able to throw a hose onto this, right? And as you can tell, compared to this original one, by the time we do that, put this here, see, like this. This is like, I'm gonna leave a little tiny space like that. And that will be the exact same length, see, as the original hose. So pretty straightforward. So what I'm gonna do in between here is, I went to Napa and I got some 3/8 gas hose, see? But this is fuel injected gas hose from, actually I got this at Part Source. Fuel injected high pressure hose, 125 PSI, guys. So this will work. So I'm gonna basically slide this onto that, cut it the appropriate length, and then we're gonna slide this on the other side. So I'm gonna rig that up right now. I'm gonna tighten this, and I'm also gonna put this one on, tighten everything up, super tight. Okay, so I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Just letting you guys know what I'm doing here. Okay, so here we are. See, the only thing is, guys, these clamps, I guess I can't get them on here. It's just a little bit too big. So I'm gonna use this type of clamps. The only thing is I don't have any big enough. So I'm just gonna, for now, put this all together without clamps. And then when I go into town, I'll pick some up and put them on. But I mean, that worked. Honestly, just buy the right stuff. I thought I could save some money and, you know, do it this way. But in the end, it probably cost me just as much as getting the actual gas lines. But anyways, so I made that. That's just gonna hook up into, well, you'll see, the copper hose that I got running to the engine. Okay, what I'm gonna do now, guys, is I'm gonna go put this thing on. I'm gonna start with that. Okay, so I got the accumulator on, as you can see. So the line that comes out of it, this one, right? So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna run it like this. See? Loop it around nice because you don't want it to kink. We're gonna run it this way, and we're gonna hook it up to one of these copper lines here. We're gonna hook it up to the one that's on the passenger side. So we're gonna hook it up into this one, right? Okay, so in my case, guys, when I bought these copper lines, those are 3/8 size. They were all out of 5/16. So I'm running bigger gas lines than the original ones. But in your case, all you would have to do is you would take this 3/8 line, and then at Napa, they sell these little reducers, get it? So then the 3/8 would go in here, you would clamp it, and then you would put on a 5/16 hose, just a little section, so it makes it smaller, clamp it, and then you could slide it onto your 5/16 if that's what you were running. But in my case, I am running 3/8. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab one of these plumber's kind of cutting tools here, and I'm gonna cut this just in the right spot so I can slide this on. And I'm gonna try to use these clamps for that. I should be able to use them there. I'm gonna put like 2 on if I can. Okay, so I'm gonna set that up so you guys can see what that looks like. Okay guys, so I got it hooked up just like I said. See, so there it is. So that's just gonna sit like that. See, very nice. I got 2 clamps on here for now. I am gonna put one more after, I'll get to that. So that's gonna sit like that. Here's the vacuum line that runs to the front right fender. So once I got both gas lines on, I'm gonna just zip tie it to the gas lines underneath, right? So now, there is, from the stir pot, there is a line. This is the return line. This one's gonna be the return line. This one is gonna be the feed line, right? So the return line, so this is a 5/16 hose, and see that comes out. Here, let me just turn the camera around and jam it in there, right? So that goes right there. It's hooked up to the stir pot. It's this one, right? So now that comes down. So there it is, right? So I'm gonna hook this one up to the other fuel line. Can you see that? I think so, right? Makes sense. I'm gonna hook this one up to this one the same way I hooked up the other one. The only thing is this is 3/8 in my case, and this is 5/16. So that reducer thing I showed you from Napa, I'm gonna use that. But this doesn't have to be high pressure anymore because this is just a return line, right? So, okay, let me hook all that up and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so I'm just attaching these to the floor just for some ideas for you guys. So what you do is you grab a piece of hose, you cut a slit in it, see, like this, and then you can slide this on, see, like that, put these up, and then bend these, and that way you don't have metal on metal rubbing where it can rub a crack in it, right? And just close these. I'm also running the vacuum line. See, I'm using some of the original and some not. So, okay, I'm gonna set all these up and I'll show you when it's all done. Okay, so I got the gas lines all running nice. As you can see, everything's hooked up, everything's good. The vacuum's hooked up. Everything is good to go. Okay, so yeah, I am missing clamps here. So I will get those later when I go into town. So now we're gonna focus on this. So here's the new pump, right? So we're gonna take this off. You gotta put, see these bronze washers. So you gotta have one in here and then one on the other side like that. And then you're gonna put this on, right? And then that part right there will be in the middle of the two, right? And then you squash them. It's a compression fitting. But what I'm gonna do, just for now, right? So if you notice, this thing is like skinnier on this side. So like I said, I don't have a bracket, so I'm building one. So I'm gonna install this way. See the skinny side towards there, like so. So that's gonna go in. See, like this. Okay, and then that's gonna go like this, right? And then I built, okay, hang on, I gotta get my hand here. Okay, so I built this little bracket. It looks like that. It's hard to get it on with cameraman being my right hand. So this will go, see where that bolt was. Okay, hang on, I'm just gonna set it up. Okay, so that's how that's gonna go. See, I got that bracket sitting there like this. It's gonna, once I put the nut on, just gonna hold it right in place. This ain't going nowhere. Okay, so I might even have to lower all of this a little bit to tighten everything nice and tight. Make sure you put a wrench on one side of it, you know, tighten it tight. And then on this side, all I'm gonna do is coming out of the swirl pot, see right there, the thick line, right? The 3/8 line. So that is just gonna go directly into this, and I'm gonna clamp it here. I'm just gonna figure out what length to do it. I think you guys got it. As far as the wires go, they are different sizes, so you actually can't get them on wrong, but the red is positive, the brown is negative. Make sure you clean your connectors with a little piece of sandpaper so there's no corrosion on it. Tighten everything nice. Okay, so I'm gonna install this now. Okay, so this check valve, I don't know if they torqued it down at the factory or not, but this is what I did. I put that there, and then I put this on, and I actually tightened it a bit. To me, it felt like it wasn't tight enough, so I tightened that. So that's step number one, guys. So now, okay, let's go tighten this in the car. Well, if anything weird happens, I will show you. Otherwise, we're good. Okay, just a quick little in between. So I ended up buying one size bigger clamps. So I got those on. I ended up using the fuel injection kind. So in order to tighten this, I just used the 17 mil wrench and then another wrench. And the best way to do it is like having it out here. I noticed, like, I don't know how you could ever do it in there. There's just no room. So now I'm gonna hook up these two wires, and I should be good to just put this thing right back up there. Okay guys, so I got everything on beautifully. I am super happy. I zip tied this to there. I mean, everything's looking great. It actually looks good. Everything worked out. But just when I thought things were gonna be easy, of course, there's another problem. So this line coming out of the swirl pot, that line is a 3/8 line, guys. So this is a 3/8, right? So I pulled the cap off of here, and of course, that's not 3/8. That is a 1/2 inch. So I had to go to the store again, and I had to buy a converter. So I'm gonna have to plug this in here, and it's gonna go from 3/8 to 1/2 inch, and then I bought another piece of pipe, 1/2 inch pipe, or hose, sorry. And then we're gonna hook it up, clamp everything together. So that's problem number one, which I just resolved. But the second problem is, see, originally this was in there, right? It went something like this, right? So I'm worried about this kinking. I kind of played around with it and see, like, I think it'll be okay, see? It's almost not, but I'm gonna put it like that. I'm gonna cut it right here. I'm gonna put that plastic adapter there, and then I'm gonna put the 1/2 inch hose. But the only thing I'm gonna do, guys, is, see, it is almost ready to kink, but it's not, but it's close. So what I'm gonna do, guys, is, remember that spring earlier? This one here that I took out? Well, I'm gonna put that spring on the outside of this where it bends, and that will for sure prevent it from kinking. It will actually fit. You have to like wrap it around. So I'm gonna put that like right, something like that. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna hook all this up, and then I'll show you guys what that looks like. Okay, so I got it done. Check it out. So that's what that looks like. See, I got the spring around it so it won't kink. Comes out, goes in there. Pretty straightforward, right? So now what you gotta be careful with though is this hose cannot be higher than the stir pot, get it? Like basically that stir pot is like a little gas tank, and that's where this pump gets its fuel from, is that little tank, right? So if this runs up, if you got it spooled up really, really high, and it's higher than the top of the stir pot, you can actually get air, and then you will have moments of no fuel. So that's how that works. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, guys, now is I'm just quickly gonna throw the axle. See the axle over there? I'm gonna throw the axle on. I just wanna make sure that this isn't gonna like rub on anything. So I'll show you guys that once the axle is on. And then we're gonna move over to the engine part, and I'll show you like how to hook it up over there, which one goes to what. Okay, so I got the axle on. I got the shock absorbers on, which are complete garbage. I have to get new ones. They're actually on their way. But I do have a problem, guys, so I'm gonna show you. Okay, so that's the back of the car, right? Here's the last hose that we just put on. So here's the problem, guys. Can you see that? Here, I'm gonna stick the camera right in here. So here's the problem. This hose, see, it's actually rubbing, see, on the axle where the brake line is supposed to hook up. And I can't even really get the brake line in, look. See? Because this hose, see what I mean? It's like, it's in the way. These clamps are in the way too, see? You gotta be so careful. You know, it can't be rubbing nothing. So, unfortunately, that is the problem. So what I'm gonna do, guys, is I'm gonna unscrew this axle again, lower it, and we're gonna get back in there and try to figure out a better way to do this. And I mean, I could have left that out of the video, right? But I'm showing you all the weird problems that I'm having here, guys. So, okay, let's pull it off again. Okay, so the axle is lowered. So now, okay, this is what I'm doing. I have a plan here on how to fix this. So first of all, I got rid of the 1/2 inch hose completely. So this is the 3/8 hose that I had more of, right? So I ended up putting WD-40 on this and I just forced it on because there was just too many fittings and this thing was like coming out too much before I could turn it. Then I took some of my 3/8 copper gas line here, right? Same stuff I used there. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm obviously gonna put a clamp here. I'm gonna probably put like two clamps just for extra, but I'm gonna cut this the appropriate length, see, and I'm gonna go like this. And then that's gonna be up. See, there's that brake line. So that works, see, look. See, before this was like coming down like this, right? And it was hitting, but now it's gonna go like that. And we're gonna run this. Okay, I'm gonna set all this up. Let's see if that works. Okay, just before we move on, so these are the fuel injected clamps and these are just regular clamps. So I find that the fuel injected clamps, they do squeeze the hose more equally around, but when you're putting a hose, especially high pressure, like 75 PSI, so you want to put it as far as you can, like that's what I did underneath the car. I put like 2 of these, one there for a nice seal, but I'm also in the middle in each spot where it's high pressure, gonna put one of these and squeeze it nice and tight because these squeeze tighter than those ones, but they might get a little bit deformed. So it might not be like a perfect circle, but if you squeeze it with this, there's no chance of it sliding off ever. I mean, it wouldn't, but just for extra precautions, anywhere with high pressure, I am gonna put these as well. Okay, let's go underneath the car. All right, guys, I am super happy with that. See, there it is. So now watch. This brake hose, see? It's nowhere near it. If you look up here, see? It's as low as it can be. I know it's hard to see, guys. Yeah, that's good. So we fixed it. Okay, I'm gonna put the axle on, double check that, and then I'll show you which one runs where to the motor, guys. Okay, guys, the axle is on. As you can see, that totally worked. So we got tons of room in there now. Nothing's rubbing. Yes, I gotta hook up the brake lines and all that. I will do that later because I still gotta put the exhaust on, heat shield. I gotta do shifter linkage on a manual. That might even be the next episode, guys, doing the shifter linkage. Okay, so now there's 2 lines here. One is, I'm gonna call it the right line. So in my case, it's passenger because I live in Canada. And then the left line, which is the driver line, right? So the right line, the passenger line, is the one that comes out of here. So this is the high pressure line going to the motor, loops around. And that is the passenger line. So let's go over to the motor, guys. Okay, so here we are. So I got these coming out here, right? So that high pressure one, which is the right line, passenger side line. So in my case, you know, you got to follow them, figure out which one's which. So in my case, it's this one here, see? So that one goes directly into the fuel filter, guys. And that's where this whole thing gets its pressure from, right? So I bought one of these, just the right size. I'm still waiting for a new fuel filter, so I'm not gonna wrap this up today, but so I'm gonna put this on here, you know, golden washer on each side. So that's gonna go on there. I'm gonna put my 3/8 rubber high pressure line on that. And then onto this copper line, I'm gonna slide it on, but I'm gonna slide it on super far, like probably there. And I'm gonna put like 1, 2, 3, or maybe even 4 clamps on it, just so there's no chance of it sliding off. So that's what I'm doing there. And then for the return line, guys, so that's the other line. What I'm gonna do for this, guys, is I decided this original thing that loops here, right? I'm just gonna reuse this part. See, it goes down there. It's actually pretty solid, and I'm just gonna, using a rubber line, I'm gonna hook that. I'm gonna loop it around, and I'm just gonna plug it into this. I'm gonna cut this like right here. So this is a 5/8 line. That is a 3/8 line. Well, actually that's a 5/16 line, sorry. So 5/16, that is a 3/8. I could have used the 5/16 and ran it all the way back, which I didn't. So I'm gonna have to put one of these on, guys. Got it at Napa. 3/8 on one side, 5/16 on the other side. And see, when they're flared like that and you clamp it, there's no chance of it coming off. So just one clamp on each. I'm gonna rig all that up right now, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. Okay, so just give me one more minute here. Okay, guys, it is done. Let me just pull this out so I can show you guys. Put that there. All right, so check it out. So I'm using a section of the original one here. See, it loops down, and then it goes into there. So that's good. And then this one, see, it goes like that. Got a few clamps for extra so it doesn't slide off. And that goes there, guys. Unfortunately, I obviously can't start the car. There's no exhaust on it. Everything's apart here. And I got to do the shifter linkage. So thanks for watching, all my British and Canadian and American friends. And remember, this is a series of a complete restoration, guys. I plan on putting awesome rims on it, doing shark face to it, and repainting the whole car, making it look brand new. Thanks for watching. Till next time, everybody.